I used to live in Accra, Ghana. Welcome to the Shikama Live Show with your host, Shikama. Ghana is flooding. Listen carefully. In June of 2015, Ghana, especially the capital city of Accra, experienced devastating floods that sent shivers down the spines of not only those affected directly, but also the authorities and members of the general public. A Goyle filling station near the Kwame Nkrumah interchange, which was packed with people, cars, and buses waiting to depart to their various destinations after the rain, exploded into flames, killing over 150 people and injuring several others. The filling station was being used as a shelter from the 3 days of heavy rain, which flooded several other parts of the city of Accra when the explosion occurred. Major hospitals in Accra, especially 37 Military Hospital, Corley Boot Teaching Hospital, and Police Hospital, were flooded with dead bodies and several people who suffered various degrees of injuries as a result of the flooding and explosion. Following the disastrous event, President Mahama announced plans for future flood prevention, including unblocking drainage systems and waterways, saying, quote, "Drastic steps are necessary here if we are to permanently address this perennial problem. We will intensify efforts to expand and modernize our drainage system." Indeed, there was reports that some contractors were on site desilting the Odaw River and other drains in Accra in expectation of this year's rains. A little over a year down the line, torrential rains have started again, and already there are reports of widespread flooding in several parts of Accra and the harbor city of Tema. Let me break right there. I lived in Accra for 2 years. I don't remember torrential rains or flooding. In fact, I didn't have, in my area. I don't know if my area was the rich area of town. I don't know. Reports say the Odaw River has overflowed its banks and drainage channels, including the Onitsha, Odaw, and Nima. Areas which were heavily affected by the floods include the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, portion of Teshi Airport Residential Area, Zorwulu, Akimota, Tseado, and Tema. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, is reported to have urged the people to move to higher ground from the flood-prone areas. Although there has been no information about casualties in Accra, one person was reported missing in Tema as a result of the flooding. This is not the first time Ghana has experienced flooding in its capital city. From time immemorial, flooding has become a perennial activity on the calendar of Mother Ghana, bringing in its wake pain and destruction to properties and lives, among others. Government after government has set up various investigative committees to find out the causes of the floods and what could be done to minimize the problem, if not stop it completely, but to no avail. Inadequate drainage systems, frequently blocked by trash and other debris, as well as illegal building on waterways, have been identified as some of the major causes of flooding in the country. The Chronicle further believes that another major cause of flooding in the country is the attitude of the Ghanaian when it comes to environmental cleanliness and the ability to keep our surroundings clean. Many people have been throwing refuse into drains, especially when it's raining, thinking that the rains will carry them away, forgetting that actually blocks the water from flowing freely. Another issue that pops up when it comes to causing a flood is when, after cleanup exercises, whether by a group of people or individuals, the refuse collected are left on the shoulders of the gutters and abandoned. And speaking of gutters, I was just remembering my house. So my house, all of the houses on my street were 2-story houses. In the front of the house, we had a 2-foot gutter, an actual 2-foot gutter, so the road, then the 2-foot gutter, 2 feet deep. And in back of our house was another gutter. All of our water, from the kitchen and stuff, drained into a gutter specifically. These were all deep gutters, and in back of the house, on the outside of the wall, was a neighborhood gutter. So we had drainage all around us. So maybe that's why we didn't flood After some time, the refuse finds its way back into the drains and becomes a blockade. Also, to add to the cause of flooding is the small size of drains being constructed by the authorities in recent times. Due to the small size of the drains, they easily get full and overflow their banks. The Chronicle, therefore, wishes to urge the government of the Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Chief Executives, the MMDCs, to embark on massive education to help the local people to understand their roles as citizens of the country. I went to a year of a Master's of Public Administration. This is not unique to Accra, Ghana. This is not unique to Ghana. This is not unique to West Africa. This is not unique to Africa. I live in Las Vegas of Nevada, of the United States. Almost every aspect of city administration, city planning is completely and utterly undervalued, not seeing into the future. Just completely inadequate. After my year of just 1 year of Masters of Public Administration, came to Vegas to visit, and I was horrified with the reality of Vegas versus the complete theory of how to properly run a city. So if this is all that Accra, Ghana has to put up with, their only drawback is inadequate plumbing, inadequate drainage, Vegas has that. Vegas is very prone to flooding. And in fact, it is so prone to flooding that an entire half of the valley will be washed out with not even a big rain, because of the ground this is desert. The rain hits the ground and does not soak in. It literally hits the ground and slides. So with very little rain, you cause a flood is caused. And they have, up until recently, had complete floods that have washed out entire homes. You don't want to hear about it because Vegas has all these casinos, and the casinos don't want any bad news in the news. The media cannot report anything bad because they don't want people to get afraid and not come here. But that is the least. We have complete streets and traffic lights that cause traffic jams and automobile accidents. Our highway system is deplorable. Let me get back to the story here. Also, with the influx of technology, and especially the use of mobile phones, price tags can be made available to persons who can secretly take pictures of anyone found to be throwing refuse into any drain in any part of the country and WhatsApp to the appropriate office for some reward. Young and vibrant youth in the various communities in metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies, MMDAs, could be put on payroll and charged with the responsibilities to arrest or report the conduct of members within their jurisdiction who throw refuse into drains to the authorities, just like in the days of the town councils. I don't think that's the answer. I think the answer is actually make an adequate garbage pickup, and just like the United States, just make garbages available and make the garbage cans actually large enough for a total family, because Africans don't suffer from the feminist plague that plagues the rest of the Western countries. So Ghana, I don't think I even met an African family where we lived, and I guess I lived in the rich area, so all the Ghanaians around me were rich, and I didn't meet a family that had 1 or 2 children. They all had like 3, 4, if not more, and they all lived in large houses, so they could afford everything, but provide adequate garbage pickup and disposal in a proper place. I know for a fact that there were people who would come around and recycle, and even these rich families recycled and would take their recycling down to wherever they turned it in and stuff. I think that's the answer. People are throwing the trash away because there's no trash cans around, and there is no constant reminder that there's going to be a garbage pickup on this day, or in fact, I can't even remember what we did with our trash. I cannot remember what we did with our trash. And I had maids and butlers and stuff like that. Well, not to brag or anything. I mean, living overseas, you can get maids and butlers, so people don't get confused. I didn't have yachts or airplanes or anything like that. Now, as far as the drainage is concerned, yes, you need to prepare for a city of millions and millions and millions. Don't come back for another 50 years. That's how you plan. You don't plan because governments take a long time to move. So why in the heck would you plan for growth for 5 years? No, you plan for growth for 50 years, 100 years. You plan your city for 50 years, 100 years. And you do your zoning for 50 years, 100 years. I mean, you don't let private companies dictate to the city planner how things are going to be. This is what we're going to do. No, that's not what you're going to do. That does nothing but put money in your pocket, you, the private person, and it actually takes away from the growth of the city. Private companies are not interested in the growth of the city. I'm a libertarian, but I'm also, understand city planning. And I know, I know that you're not, as a private company, you don't care about the growth of a city. Now, there have been some fatalities in this, mostly children, but it's only 10 fatalities so far. And I know me saying only, will maybe make some people upset or something like that. But as compared to last year, which was 150, 10, knock on wood, is fantastic compared to last year. Now, it's not only garbage that is the problem here, but also there was a plant that was leaking oil. So there's toxins in this flood water that is, overcoming, small children. People keep thinking that children are just small size adults, and they are not. They don't have the immune system. They don't have the stamina. They don't have the system to fight off stuff like this or to even ignore it. So we all should be keeping Ghana in our thoughts. I would hesitate. I'm not going to come up with one, but if you find some sort of fund to help assist Ghana, I would think twice about it, because there are so many charlatans that come about when stuff like this happens. All right. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel. It is a news channel, but I'm trying to do more popular stuff because people don't watch the news. They don't come online and watch the news. I know people say, I get my news from you. And that, while that's flattering, it doesn't put any money in my pocket. You can think about supporting me directly. The first link in the information box is there. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Thank you.